How we doing, guys? Welcome back to another edition of FSI's NHL DFS preview show. I'm your host, TK Nation 47, flying solo today. Speedy recovery to McKinley, 412. He is feeling a little under the weather. He is 4-4 to start his year. He's on a hot streak, guys. If you want to get into the Discord channel and find those fun core plays with core sheet breakdown, you can find that link on our website, fsidfs.com, or on Twitter, at FSI_DFS, and that link is in the bio. And yeah, you can follow me at TKNation47 and find all the retweets that I tweet out mostly throughout the day. Anyway, let's get into what we were talking about. Just kind of elaborate a little bit with what McKinley was talking about in his last video. Everyone wants to do position by position with some stacks. Typically, I like to break down game by game to tell you my favorite spots in each game. But I can try to do my best with position by position, and then tell you my favorite stacks at the end, along with, which goalies we're playing. All right, guys, let's kick us off here with Connor McDavid, the man, the myth, the legend, 8,700. This guy's got a huge floor. He's getting at least 5 shots a game. He has done so in that last preseason game and in the last regular season game. Connor McDavid is a man you can't go wrong with at that price tag. His upside is unlimited. And yeah, he's the best player in the sport for a reason. And yeah, play Connor McDavid. I play him every slate. I like pairing him up with Draisaitl and Nurse. That would be my stack. I like Daniel Nurse because he is really good on 5-on-5. He gets blocked shots. He gets shots on goal. I know Tyson Barrie is the power play point man, but Edmonton doesn't typically score many power play goals. They're a 5-on-5 team, and I play their best 5-on-5 defender, and that's Daniel Nurse. All right, moving on to John Tavares at 7,900. Tavares plays with Marner and Riley. That would be my favorite stack. You can also go Richie for 3,300. That's a pretty cheap price tag. I really like Tavares. He's going to get plenty of skate time on the power play without Matthews. Really high team total today. He is unfortunately one of the highest priced Toronto Maple Leafs, but they're -270 favorites with a 6 total. I think they've played Ottawa in the last 5 games, including the preseason. So these two teams know each other pretty well at this point. Coming off of a 3-2 victory, Toronto had beaten them. I think it was Wednesday. No, it was Thursday. My apologies. They played them Thursday and won 3-2 off of a back-to-back. Now they got them in Toronto. I like Toronto in this spot. Quick notes here. Scheifele, 6,800, is back. I don't mind him. Sebastian Aho is probably my favorite play on the slate because Carolina is probably my favorite team on the slate. Nashville just got taken to the cleaners by the Kraken. Goal scoring, not an issue for Seattle in that game. I think Nashville has some holes in their defense and in their skating. I think Aho and that top line are going to be not talked about enough. So sneak peek to the favorite stack show portion of the show. Aho is 6,200, super good discount. I think he's a strong cash play. Jeff Carter, 5,400. He's going to be skating without Crosby. I like him at that price tag. Or he's going to be skating on the top line because Crosby's out. We have some injury news to keep ahead of with Rust maybe not being on that line, but I really like Carter. And since he's joined Pittsburgh, he's been on an offensive tear. Really getting him out of LA has really revised his career. 5,400 is a strong price tag. I can understand the Kadri pivot without McKinnon still. He's going to be on that top line, but Landeskog's now out on a suspension. But there's still Mikko Rantanen in there. They're still at home. They still look pretty good, and the Blues did not look good at all in their opener. I believe they lost to the Blues have not played. All right, first game for the Blues. Maybe I'm thinking back to their preseason slate. I think they gave up 8 to Columbus. Yeah, I think this is the opener for the Blues. Interesting. I also like Texier at 5K. He's going to be playing with that top line and Voracek and Line goal scorer in his last game out. I think he's kind of goal dependent though. so he doesn't have much of a floor with shots on goal or block shots. He does block a few, but Texier is goal dependent. Probably the better play is Kuznetsov at 4,700. I'm not sure what's going on with Washington's pricing after the way they looked in opening night or opening slate of games versus the Rangers. They put 5 past Georgiev. Obviously, it's a much tougher opponent in Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay's defense has given up 6 to Pittsburgh, 6 to Detroit, including 4 goals for Bertuzzi. So, yeah, there's a lot of question marks in Tampa Bay. They're not skating well. This is a 6.5 point total. Washington's only a plus 110 at home versus the back-to-back defending Stanley Cup champions. There's another erroneous price tag on this Washington side too we'll talk about later. But Kuzi at 47 would totally understand this in cash. I think there's goals in this game. I think he has an assist and a goal-scoring floor. Probably not going to score you a lot of shots on goal, but Kuzi is definitely going to be in the mix for when it comes to how goals are scored with no Backstrom. A couple of punts. I don't mind P.S. Suter at 4,600 for Detroit versus Vancouver. Vancouver just went to overtime against Philly. They did win, but that's a tough back-to-back to go from Philly to Detroit. There is a little bit of travel there, so this is a traditional back-to-back, something the teams haven't faced in a long time. So I like Detroit in this game, and that plus 100 money line tells me that I'm right, that Detroit is in a solid spot, and I think P.S. Suter going to be in for a suspended Dylan Larkin on that top line. 4,600 is a nice price tag. And then Erod in Pittsburgh, skating on the second line versus Chicago, who is on another traditional back-to-back. I don't mind him at 3,100. All right, wingers. As I mentioned with McDavid, Draisaitl at 8,200. Anytime you play McDavid, you can play Draisaitl as well. Sometimes you can one-off these two, but because it's really hard to fit all this salary into one lineup. But if you're stacking that game or that team, I advise to play Draisaitl with McDavid. Those two go hand in hand. Marner with Tavares at 7,800. I like that call. Marner, pretty good at hockey, and we got a high team total for Toronto. Getzel with Carter at 6,800. I don't mind Mikko Rantanen. He's going to probably be skating quite a bit for Colorado today. 6,900 with Nassim Kadri. I like Taylor Hall as a one-off at 6,500. This guy can get a lot of shots on goal. This Boston-Dallas game is probably going to be a low-scoring affair, but there is a lot of firepower on offense on both sides. It's just these two teams are both really good skaters. Tyler Seguin and Patrice Bergeron, some of the two best two-way centers in the game. I think those two kind of equal out each other out. So this game's going to be one on the wings, and I think Taylor Hall is going to match up really well against Dallas's second line. I think he's a solid spot at 6,500 in a one-off spot. All right, talk of the slate, probably Ovi at 6,400. 2 goals his last time out. I know he was day-to-day to open the season, but he didn't look like he missed a beat. Pair him up with Kuznetsov at 4,700. Oh, that's just an elite spot. If you don't have Ovi in cash today, you might not be able to win. I'm calling Ovi as one of the top scorers in points per play or points per salary play here at 6,400. That's the cheapest you'll ever get Ovechkin. Nylander at 62 to continue going on with this Toronto versus Ottawa matchup. I like him skating on the second line. I think he also plays on the first power play unit too. Ehlers and Connor to go. I like Connor probably more than Ehlers. Ehlers does get some power play time as well. Connor you can pair with Scheifele and Wheeler. Borkstrand, 6,900 is a pretty solid spot. He's been on fire. He's a really streaky scorer. When he scores in bulk. As you saw in the last game, he had, I think, 4 points, 2 goals, 1 goal, 3 assists, I believe he had. Bjorkstrand's an absolute monster right now. Columbus is skating really well. It's going to actually be I think this 5.5 point total in Columbus is too low. I think this should be like a 6.5 point outcome. I think they're giving a little bit too much respect to either Merzlikins or Grubauer. I think you're going to get at least 4 goals on each side of this game. I actually really like that game stack. I might have it in one of my $15 entries. Borkstrand probably be a part of it. Voracek and Line A right there, 58, 5,600. If you're going to play the 2 guys with Texier, I like that call. Rust with Getzel and Carter. Wheeler with Connor and Scheifele. Bertuzzi, 5,500. This could be, a chase, score 4 goals in his last time out. I'm not sure if that's possible again, but it's hard to pinpoint Detroit's goals. He could score again. 5,500 would be a decent price tag to find out, too. JT Miller, I kind of want to stay away from Vancouver and Chicago on this back-to-back. But JT Miller really cheap at 5,400. TJ Oshie is also 5,400. If he's skating with that top line in Ovi and Kuznetsov, I really like that price tag. To go along with some values here for some of our stacks, Tarasenko will probably be a decent one-off, 4,700. He can get a lot of shots on goal. I don't mind that play. Colorado does have some good defenders, though. I kind of want to stay away from St. Louis. I don't know what to expect with that team yet. Pugliari, 4,500 with Draisaitl and McDavid. Donskoy at 4,300, really, really fun price tag. You could play him with McCann for Seattle. Bunting, Toronto, left winger, 3,700. He's going to be on that second line with Nylander. I like that call as well. He plays with Kerfoot, I believe, as well. I think he's a solid value in a high total game. Jason, Eli Toivonen, 3,200 for Nashville. He's just a guy that can get a lot of shots on goal. 3,200 is not much to pay for either. Appleton, 3,100, Seattle, and Spezza. That is McKinley's guy, Jason Spezza, near mid price, 2,700. That is the play. All right. One thing I did not mention that I did not write down are the Carolina guys to go along with Aho. Kotakimi, 3,400. And Nekis, I believe, 5,300. And I don't mind Trocheck, Shevkinov, and Torovine and Turbo. Those guys not expensive at all. 6,100, 5,800, 5,300. I really like those guys to be a part of your lineups as well for Carolina, one of my favorite teams on the slate. All right, now we're talking defenders here. Just a lot to break down when you go position by position, boys. Like I said, rather do this game by game. Adam Fox, 6,700. This guy with a lot of high points per floor, with block shots, shots on goal, power play time. Renewski, if you want to go with if you want to go with Columbus, I like Daniel Nurse probably the most at the top here, with his high shots on goal and block shots floor. When it comes to just floor points, and that's really an emphasis on defense. You want guys that get a lot of shots on goal, guys that get block shots, because defense is not guaranteed when it comes to points in this league. McKinley is always a guy that loves to pay up for defense, and he loves to correlate that first power play unit time, and I totally understand that. But I'm more, when it comes to defense, if I'm paying up, I want to make sure I have a floor there, so I'm not missing out on a potential zero, right? Giordano, 5,700. It's not bad. Mike Riley, probably my favorite defender with a price tag, 5,500. It lets you save a little bit and still get, a good power play time and shots on goal and block shots. I like him with Marner, Tavares. Even if you wanted to go with the second line too, or just Nylander, Riley gets a ton of playing time on this team. OEL, 4,900 for the Kraken. I like him. Or for Vancouver, he's a guy that can block shots and get shots on goal. I like Zub, 4,300 for Ottawa. This guy blocks a ton of shots. He gets a lot of shots on goal. I like Zub. He had 4 block shots, I think, in 2 periods. 4,300 is not much. He can get you that bonus. Tony DeAngelo, 4,200 for Carolina. This guy, I think he's getting power play time. since Dougie Hamilton left this team. So I like him at 4,200. Matt Dumba, 41 for Minnesota. He's a guy that gets some power play time. He gets that, shots on goal and that blocked shots upside. We have Bean as well for 4K for the Blue Jackets. I like pairing him up with Bjorkstrand. I like that little two-man stack. Heiskanen, favorite defender on the slate. There's a chance Klingberg doesn't play today. That could bump him up into the first power play unit, and that could bump him up as a first defender with the first line, and then he's 3,400. I believe he scored in his last time out. And his price went down. I can't explain it. Slavin, 3,500, and my boy Byram, 2,900, scored last time out for Colorado. He plays on that second line for defense, but he does play quite a bit. Maybe you could play Letang as well at 5,600. Just going back through here. If you don't want to, if Rust is out, maybe you can go with Getzel, Carter, and Letang. I'm not a big fan of Seth Jones in this spot. Brett Burns is another guy you can always play, but it's just there hasn't been as much shots on goal and block shots from San Jose for some reason in the past year or so with their defenders. I'm probably in a minority when it comes to that take, but I'm fine being in the minority. I like being at the top of GPPs. Doherty is pretty cheap too at 4,500. Minnesota coming off of a win in Anaheim, so they could have some stale legs. You can see Doherty play pretty well at times. I don't mind that call as well. All right, goalies: Mike Smith and Darcy Kemper and Tristan Jarry. Those are my favorite goalies. Mike Smith versus Calgary, a team that he used to play for. He's been just pretty hot as a goalie lately. I like him. Darcy Kemper, probably a GPP only play here. I don't mind him. Where am I at? Darcy Kemper is now with Colorado. I just don't know what to expect with St. Louis. So even without McKinnon and Landeskog, I like Kemper because of that defense in front of him. Made quite a bit of saves in that last matchup. Tristan Jarry. Chicago's going to put a lot of shots on goal. Jarry, you're going to have to pay for it. I don't mind paying up at goalie today to make sure I get a win and quite a bit of saves. Jarry looked real good against Tampa Bay in that first season opener. DeSmith was the one that looked terrible in the last time out for Pittsburgh. So I like Saturday games, Saturday primetime spot. Chicago on a bad back-to-back. Pittsburgh, Jarry. I like that call. All right, some favorite stacks to round this little 20-minute video out. Stack one, I will probably go with Toronto 1. Tavares, Marner, and Riley. That is my favorite stack on the slate. I know you have to pay for it, but I think they're going to be a big part of the slate. Stack line 2. I'd probably go, honestly, with Carolina line 2 with Trocheck, Shevchenko. I can't pronounce that freaking name. I'm going to have to come up with a nickname for that dude. Sorry, I don't have really good Russian abilities here. Shevchenko. Andrei Shevchenko. 6,100 and then Turbo. I like that Carolina line 2. So we're going Toronto 1, Carolina 2. Next up, Pittsburgh. I don't mind them. Line 1, Getzel, Jeff Carter, and Rust. If Rust can't go, toss in Letang. And yeah, so those will be my top 3. I don't mind Kuzi, Ovi as well. I think I've spared plenty of your time here this morning. So yeah, that'll do it for today's breakdown for the NHL slate. Please like this video, comment below with any questions, comments, concerns, and enjoy your Saturday, everyone.